Hello guys, I'm Mechanic Bright. Today I'm gonna show how to replace catalytic converter for 1.5 Ford Bronco and Escape engine. Two vehicles exactly same engine and transmission. That's why its procedure is almost similar. And this Bronco customer complained kinda exhaust sound, and then also can smell the bad exhaust smell and the inside the cabin. So we diagnosed it, found the catalytic converter and leaking, looks like a clamp leaking, but we changed the clamp and finally I found a cracked catalytic converter. What about TSV also, if your engine light on, it changed the catalytic converter. Let's go start. Here's 2021 Bronco. First remove the engine cover from the top of the engine, and then I usually take out intake tube and air cleaner box cover assembly together. So loosen the clamp and then take the air cleaner box upper box together. Next step is the charge air cooler tube. You guys see the three connectors, and then disconnect the three connectors from the charge air cooler tube. Then I usually disconnect this canister port line from the firewall and then take it out and then put aside away. The next step, remove CAC tube mount nut from the bracket beside the battery. There's another one CAC tube mount bolt to the engine front cover, 10mm right there, and then remove that bolt. And then downside CAC tube clamp to the turbocharger, and then loose the clamp. Next one, the crankcase bleed tube. This is one-time use connector tube. Broke end of the clip, and then we cannot reuse it. Should a new one in it. Disconnect two auto sensor connector beside the engine front cover, and then put away both the engine auto sensor, and then remove upper stream auto sensor from the catalytic converter. And then loose the catalytic converter clamp upper side and the 13mm nut. And then lay the vehicle off on hoist, or you guys lift up on your garage, and then remove two on the skid plate. The front side, the big one, and the back side, the small metal tire. And then you guys see the bracket between P2 and transmission, and that bracket connected to the catalytic converter. Remove this bracket. Now loose the lower side catalytic converter bolt to right there, and then also remove this lower side catalytic converter clamp, 16mm, and then using the small screwdriver or flap screwdriver, spread both sides and then remove clamp. You don't need to remove whole tailpipe muffler assembly, just hanging down like that's enough. Remove three steering heat shield bolt and upper side steering gear and the right disc. Next step, using your hands and slightly wiggling, move the backward catalytic converter assembly. It has the room, and then other hand wiggling, remove that big clamp from the between turbocharger and catalytic converter. And then now remove these two mount lower side bolt. After removal to mount lower side bolt, and then move and then pull the catalytic converter backward, and then slightly counterclockwise like this, and then lean down the back. And then see that lower side auto sensor, and then remove special socket, and then using the special socket remove auto sensor. Now after the remove auto sensor, much turning the counterclockwise, and then wiggling, and then pull the back and remove the catalytic converter between body and the drive shaft. It can be out, but not very hard. But escape needed to remove drive shaft. But this Bronco without drive shaft becomes out. Now you guys see that? This one is new clamp. We changed the first 3 times clamp because we thought the clamp is problem. But I finally found the catalytic converter net is cracked right there. Crack is here. You can see that behind the right side. That means cracked catalytic converter neck, and leaking the exhaust gas and a loud hissing and exhaust sound. Anyway, we got the new catalytic converter here, and then we got the finally problem. There's not much there. Now time to installation catalytic converter. Installation is back way of remover. Put in the catalytic converter between body and the drive shaft. With the later tailpipe. First, put in the catalytic converter into the right here, and then mount the lower bracket bolt just a hand tighten. So do not tighten the whole hole. This one is the catalytic converter support bracket. I strongly recommend do not tighten this hole also. Only tighten the 80% and allow you guys to see that moving and back and forth. And this one is the big clamp for the catalytic converter to the turbocharger. That is much tricky. We failed 2 times. So we got the carefully installed. Now it's moving like this, front to back, and then it has lots of room. And then put in the catalytic converter big clamp to the gap, and then push into the catalytic converter side first. Now see that I clamp into the catalytic converter and then slightly gently push into the turbocharger. Now you guys see that correctly into the catalytic converter to the turbocharger. So now ready to tighten. But do not tighten it at this time. Just the bottom work more, and I just tighten this lower side catalytic converter mount bolt. I tighten these 2 bolts, and then this support bracket still moving. Do not tighten this time. Now it's slightly moving. Almost 90% is tightened now. So workshop says it works 2 guys, but I usually do them myself. Now, and then slightly moved, firmly pushed into the turbocharger, one hand, and another hand using the air ratchet, tightly, gently clamp right there. I moved into the turbocharger and then tightened this clamp gently. And then tighten the bottom of the support bracket hole over 3 bolt and nuts. And then make sure upper catalytic converter clamp 159 inch-pound. And install upstream auto sensor. You know, workshop said it has arrow mark, and right there clamp has the arrow mark because the clamp is new, but its turbocharger also maybe some arrow mark, but its losting spot covered. I cannot see the lost arrow mark, but it doesn't matter if the clamp is just evenly straight and tight. This bottom of clamp also tricky and a steep design, and I usually slightly bend this 4 big locking retainer like a kind, and then I spread out this one and then this clamp to the back side, this, and then retainer to the catalytic converter side. So I recommend this clamp to the catalytic converter installed first, and then pushed in. You guys see the locking, clicking clicking sound, and then into the clamp to the catalytic converter, like this. Now ready to the tighten, and now gasket sealing, gasket metal here, and then tailgate valve put into the clamp, and then tighten the clamp. Do the rest of installation, not very hard, rest of things. Now, this one is Bronco bleed tube. Early escape doesn't need to replace this tube, only one time use clamp. This one is catalytic converter part number, and then one TSP says 2325. It needed to change the catalytic converter if the engine light on. Thank you for watching.